Sorry about that, but well, Ducati obviously on suspension and bike in terms are seem to be okay. They changed a little bit the rear spring settings. Mother's Day. Muttertag. There you go. I guess that's Mother's Day. Obviously, Max, our first time ever winner of the World Superbike round. Fantastic to see. But yeah, obviously I wouldn't change anything on that bike because that thing works so well with him on it. Definitely. Obviously the closest competitor was Noriyuki Haga. He's changing, just tweaking the suspension just a little bit. He just said, listen, I've got to find a way around him that can hold him off. And, you know, he's a better man if he can do that because that Suzuki is just so fast. He said even in the draft situation, it's dire straits in more ways than one. The problem is, Jonathan, obviously there's breaking points here where you can make a move to. You know, we've seen Haga do that a few times, breaking into turn one, but it was really Kageyama who was making those kind of passes on his teammate, because basically the same bike, you can have the similar overrun on RPM and kind of easier situation to pull out of those draft situations and do that when you're on a different brand machine. And I just think that Yamaha was just strapped out completely behind that fast Suzuki. Yeah, I talked, do you know what his race engineer's name is?
Yes, Dave Martin.
Dave Martin. I had a word with him as well as Troy being there, and I said, man, you can't change enough on this bike to make it any better or worse. You know, are you making big changes? And he said, we're trying to make the bike pitch back and forth, you know, to transfer weight more. And obviously that's with spring rate, but they're just trying to change something because nothing seems to be working. He's using all the travel. He's braking really hard. It's just such an unusual racetrack, and it's just not fitting the style and him riding. Yes. That was the only brand of machine at the time missing out of the realm. I mean, the stick to stir the paint work. It would have been fantastic to see Carlos up there. I really like the sound of the new 1000 Honda. I think Honda's done a great job building this new bike. And obviously having a late start, Carlos Checa is a good man pushing towards the front. We've seen him run with Max Neukirchner before. Let's see if he can do it here.
You mentioned Haga, and you think he is the man most likely to stop a win from Neukirchner or Bayliss again. And he definitely showed signs in that last race well, you had a chat with him. There's just not many places he can go, and certainly we saw graphically at the Parabolica, he hasn't got the wings to beat Neukirchner. He's got to do
Curva Grande, exiting that corner, heading down to Variante della Roggia. That's he looked interested in trying to do something. The problem again, Jonathan, it's a do or die, and Neukirchner's Neukirchner's not a slouch any whatsoever on anywhere of this racetrack on the brakes. And so what do? Do you outbrake him and then make a mistake and run into the green zone and have to give it back? It would just be, you know, too risky to take both of those guys out in such a chicane. And the problem is he's not going to be able to, for me, he's not going to be able to get just enough of a run anywhere to do that. He's got to try to do it and get it done before Variante Ascari, which is the final chicane. And I mentioned to him, if you can get into that corner better than him and get through, you know, get that Yamaha, the quickness of that, the way a Yamaha works of going through chicanes, if you can get a good run onto that back straight before the Parabolica and stay far right as far as you can possibly go and make Max go around you to the outside, you have a shot out of it. Other than that, I don't see him having that. Carlos Checa could be the one that steps in and does something. Kiyonari, the man on screen right now, for me, he was somebody who did very, very well. I'm sorry. Well, it says pit there, but oh no, in the pits. I think that he's done a fantastic job. Another rookie that's here to this racetrack. Yeah, and at one stage it looks like he was going to get Max in 5th place. So he could be up there. It's important, as I said, there's lap times that were going where so many guys doing similar lap times, but they were all spread out from the beginning.
What about Max Neukirchner? Because just wonder what he's got left, because he got a cracking start. We thought for one moment he could be up there. Just
I didn't have a chance to talk with Max, but obviously he rode very well. He pushed it very well. He caught back up with the leading group for one lap, and then he started making small errors that were not on screen, and he lost the toe. Will you stop staring?
I ain't staring at you.
Yeah, no.
I was just thinking, it's not a bad life if you go have the best of days.
Yeah. What a teammate in your garage.
Yeah, it's not the one on the other side Ruben's ass either.
You know, obviously Ruben's. We mentioned about having magnetism. They've got the magnets reversed in that garage because those two could not be further apart. You know, on the day, would you asked Troy, can you take on Frank Bruno? Yes, I can do it. You know, he'd go in that ring and try it. The thing is, his comment about, you know, risking his neck just to try to get that few. The problem is, you talk about a 4-cylinder running with that Suzuki, another 4-cylinder, that little twin, well, that twin is struggling here to keep up with the pace.
Who are you up against in your heyday? Hang on 1 second, I'm just going to show you my highlights though. First of all, I'll talk to you about when you were here though, because it's just as relevant, it was just as competitive back then. Here are the highlights of race 1. And a cracking start to it. Everybody cleaning through, but look at this bumping and banging. The Yamaha's involved, and also Sunstone Rollers involved. Haga getting through on Max Neukirchner early on. Kiyonari taking the lead over his teammate. Then Haga joined the battle. Bayliss was in 3rd at the time. Haga going through to 3rd, and then Max Neukirchner going past his teammate to take up the lead. Haga had his moment, went up to 2nd, split the two Suzukis, much to the enjoyment of his fans and crowd. Kiyonari wasn't done. Just for a couple of mistakes. Kiyonari had a good run. So talking to Suzuki generally, Kiyonari in the lead at this point. And the parabolic just going slightly wider. Haga back through. Bang went number 86. And then bang over the handlebars went Ruben Sass. No ill effects, gladly for that one. Cutting the chicane there, a mistake by Kiyonari, and then missing his red on the first corner. Kiyonari going off. And that allowed Neukirchner and Haga to have their own little battle. And try as he might, public rocket that is, Haga just couldn't do too much against Neukirchner because he would get past. And then watch this, Neukirchner, even around the outside of parabolic, was able to get past the Yamaha Massimo Marigali. Watching on, as was Francis Batter. And in the end, it was Max Neukirchner taking the victory. Buongiorno and a warm welcome to Italy for the 5th round of the World Superbike Championship. Welcome to Monza and this beautiful circuit as we head for race 2. I'm Jonathan Green, alongside me Rani Momola, and it's been an enthralling day already. Plenty of great racing. You've had a chance to get amongst it. You've had a chance to get in the pits and talk to some of the riders, including Noriyuki Haga, and he's the man most likely to stop Neukirchner, we think, but Bayliss is also going for it. This is the calendar. We're heading to Salt Lake City, so somewhat appropriate that we've got an American and a great one alongside us today to perhaps give us an insight about what we may have in store at Salt Lake City in a few weeks' time. A lot of excitement. Rolfo, not taking part this weekend, has a broken shoulder. Collarbone is out, having had a bicycle accident, not the only one on the grid.
Notice how they always use the wide angle with him and they just don't show him?
Well, why would you?
You're talking about Salt Lake City. Obviously, that's your next round. I've never been there, but I've watched the racing on there. It's just an incredible facility. It looks fantastic. It's very, very fast, 0.8 of a mile straight. So it's very, very long. That's 1.3 kilometers. Incredible, something that would magnetize this main straight here. There was word about Jake Zemke possibly coming here, a racer in the AMA Championship. Obviously, the FG Sports is very excited about trying to get another American in here, and obviously going to America. I heard that there's a chance that he could have a wild card ride there, but obviously it's always difficult to mix up the AMA Championship with the World Superbike Championship. Obviously the AMA, different tire manufacturers versus what Pirelli has got with the World Superbike. But it's going to be good to have the World Superbike guys back in America.
Yeah, no question about it. It's been too long, in my opinion, and certainly a new track, a level playing field, a chance perhaps for the four cylinders to gain some more ground on what has been a dominant season so far from this man, Troy Bayliss. And as you can see, 194 points to Checa's 116. Carlos Checa having a bit of a mishap at the start of the first race, and he hopes to rectify that in race 2. And it'd be good to see Carlos up there. And he needs to steal some points off Bayliss. And as you see, still early days yet. This is only the 5th round of 14, long way to go yet. And Ducati also 6 wins to Suzuki's 2 and Yamaha's 1. And looks as though Ducati are going to win the majority of the races, certainly if Bayliss keeps winning. And
one thing that's great about World Superbike, obviously this is the first time I've commentated on a race, but what's cool about it is we had a great race 1. And we don't have to wait until Salt Lake City to see the next one. The gloves
that's the beauty of it.
The gloves are off again, and these guys are going out and do battle once more.
And also what you'll find is interesting is that it's always different. You do get that 2 hours, effectively, to rethink it, perhaps reset it. And we've heard already, you were telling me, Bayliss might just try a different tyre combination. He had AA last time out, A on the rear, the softest, and A on the front. But all of them seemingly going with the 200 spec, a slightly wider, bigger tyre.
Yeah, I mean, Bayliss's chief engineer told me that they've made a little bit of spring change on his bike, but they were leaning towards changing the front. You'd have to give me the code of what the front might be. If he ran an A, would he go for a B? I don't know what that...
I would presume that would be the only other combination he would do.
And is the B harder?
B is slightly harder, yeah.
It sounds to me that he wants to go charging into those chicanes a little bit harder.
Exactly.
And you know, just because he's changing to a harder harder tire, that will tend to give him a harder, stiffer construction, more firm feeling towards the front. Obviously, I've never raced here with Pirelli tires. I did give them a podium finish with the Cagiva in Spa-Francorchamps on the Cagiva 500. But, you know, just by saying that you're going to change and go to a harder compound also can affect the combination of how the tire works. And maybe he just felt that he needed something more firm to go into these chicanes.
Well, interestingly enough, Haga had a rear and a C, even harder front compound last time out. So maybe that's what he's emulating. Neukirchner, on the other hand, the race winner, had a rear, so that is pretty much universal, and a B front tyre. There is Carlos Checa. We need Carlos at the front. I'm not saying we, but it would be good. He had a mistake evidently coming together with another rider. Was it his teammate? He came together with somebody, and I saw him definitely.
And they actually, the person that had contact with actually hit him from behind in the brake, or going in the acceleration area, took his hand off the handlebar and made a big wobble. You just caught the end of it and saw him pulling his limbs back in under the side of the bike. And unfortunately, that put him down four from the back.
This is the battleground that we're looking at right now. The crowd in the distance, and you know why they gather here. This is the first corner. And Jeremy McWilliams earlier was saying he hates it. It's so narrow, it's so tight, and you can see there's plenty of runoff, but you don't want to be on it. You lose all the impetus out of the corner.
The worst thing is that magnitudes, that sharpness of the corner when you're trying to get 5 abreast or 6 abreast going in there to the first couple of laps.
One win on the board then for Max Neukirchner, number 76.
Bubble's broken. He's got that bubble off his back, and now he can go for it.
What are your memories of this amazing circuit? You raced here many times, so I believe you were in a few fisticuffs with Lucanelli and...
Yeah. Believe it or not, I had bad luck here. Maybe some of the luck was my own, but battling for the World Championship in 1981, I was already second in the World Championship from in 1980, and we came here and Suzuki gave us some new pistons, and the Galena group, which ran Lucanelli, decided not to use them. And on the warm-up lap, I believe I was first or second on the grid. I think I was on pole, and it seized, and it fired back up, but it just didn't run.
And the championship was on the line.
Yeah, and you know, we had one more race, but Lucanelli won the race. And that was it. And the other one, I was leading the championship in 1987, and I had to come in together with Variante Ascari, the final chicane, with Rob McElnay. And let me tell you, anybody who tries to barge Rob McElnay will definitely...
No, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that without a bite.
But, you know, so, again, but being part of the history, even the hotel that I stayed in last night here, Hotel de Ville, my first time I was there, I was 20 years old. You know, that's
it's a few years ago.
Yeah. 18 years ago or whatever. But it was fantastic. The memory of this place. Nothing seems to change. Only us who are participating in it, obviously.
Yeah, no kidding. And it is a magical place. It really is, all based around this famous circuit in this famous Royal Park. And,
you know, when you think of Italy, you think of happy people. You think of happy people having, you know, making pasta, or pizza, or you know, and this is why Ducati succeeds so well, and even MV Agusta, the brand names, because they're just happy people. You can sense that.
I noticed just to the right of Max there's a policeman. I don't even need a police guard, but he's certainly pretty popular here. And Max Biaggi preparing himself for race 2, and you never know what he might be able to do if he gets away from this.
Okay, who's this?
Do you know what? I don't know everybody. You know.
He must. Yeah, obviously, he must be somebody quite famous.
Well, I can tell you what I do know. I can tell you that Max Biaggi is on an A rear and a B front, which is exactly what Bayliss has chosen to do himself. So he is on a and B. So Bayliss, as we expected, is going AB. Haga is staying with its AC, C front, and that suited him last time, so maybe it'll suit him again this time.
I hope that Kageyama can just settle down into this race. It seemed that he was always just a little bit on edge on some of the places, trying to make up the time on Max, and Max just seemed so much more in control of the situation, and I hope he can just settle that down. The other one, obviously, is Checa to get a good start and get off the line.
Mugger's retired from race 1, but it's all smiles again. He's chosen A again as a rear and C as a front tire.
These guys, you know, even Muggers has the pace. You know, he's doing those 46 lap times, similar. It's very important to get in the right pecking order and to stay in the drafting zones. If you can do that, you can hang through the rest of the race. Whether or not you can win it would be a different story. But if you can get a good toe and not have to exert your tires or your body, it's going to be very important to do.
Talking about exerting your bodies, those Yamaha fans in that Ascari stand have been waving those Yamaha flags all day long.
They probably got a person who's orchestrating.
Or somebody's telling them when the camera's on.
Exactly.
Maybe.
Well, actually, if you can't see it, but just to the right, you see the Suzuki on the back of the grandstand. There's a television right in front of them. So every time that they're on screen...
Randy, I knew there's a reason we got you up here. Smart man.
Well, during the World Super Sport Championship, when you and McWilliams were doing it, I was looking through the bleachers over there, the grandstands, and I noticed something moving, and I'm thinking, what's moving over there? And sure enough, there's a big screen television in front, which is a great place to go and watch. And so obviously when the race fans are on TV, they're going to be screaming and yelling.
Giacomo Guidotti on the left-hand side next to Fonzie Nieto. And he is the crew chief for Fonzie. One of the main men at this team, of course, took Corsa to his World Championship.
There'd be pressure on him. Two of the other Suzukis up front battling for podium positions.
Nieto wasn't.
And Nieto's one of the guys that's won this race. That's how competitive it is. And if you're off just by a fraction, it shows.
No question about it. Safety car then, the Alfa Romeo 159. Heading out, the 156 right behind it. As we take a look at the Honda. Ryuichi Kiyonari. I really do hope he gets a result out of this. Top 6, and he's now growing in confidence. I've known Kiyonari for a few years, and he's on a heck of a schedule at the moment. He's flying to and from Japan, testing basically the Honda, the big Honda, for the 8 hours, and then flying back and doing his commitments here. So he's been very busy fella, and of course different tyres, different bike, everything. So not easy, and of course he's learning circuits. He's never been to Monza.
Japanese get worked very hard as a racer, and obviously it's very loyalty and to both brand and or just the Japanese flag. Carrying that Japanese flag is very important.
Question for you. We always say it, he is Honda's favoured son, and the Honda do tend to be that way with their Japanese riders. Was it that way in your day?
With the Japanese, definitely. You know, going back in the early '80s when it was me and Gardner and Haslam on the 3 cylinders, and Freddie had the 4. When the 3 cylinders and Freddie was on the 3 the first year, crates would show up, and you didn't touch engines anymore. Honda sent that stuff in, and they were all labeled with horsepower, and Spencer always got the best horsepower rated one. You know, each individual engine is rated completely different. You can put something together and they say it's exactly the same, but it just ran differently. Freddie got the pick. Obviously, Freddie was Honda's boy. Honda USA made a big standpoint of that, and obviously he was a great world champion a few times over, as well as the double, the last guy who did a double.
Randy, you got to write all this down, put it in a book. We want to read it.
No. It's, but you know, seeing these guys. Like me, when the first full year of racing in the championship was 1980. I finished second to Kenny Roberts. It went down to the last race. My bike had an engine problem. It was in the old Nürburgring, 14 miles long. I was leading the race, and something used to suck a seal, and the oil used to end up going through the engine, and it started fouling the plugs. Anyway, I finished 5th. Kenny finished 4th in the race, and I got 2nd in the championship. But this allowed me to be the #1 Suzuki rider, and we started getting a lot of development stuff, and sometimes that can go wrong because Galina's group had a lot of experience, and Galina's group just said, we're not going to take this where we don't feel it's going to work, and Suzuki said, come on, we got to try it, and unfortunately for me it didn't work out. But that sometimes can go work against you. You know, God rest his soul, Norifumi Abe was another rider, was Yamaha's boy, and you know, that fantastic race that he did years ago, when he came onto the scene, was riding a Honda. Yep. When he switched to Yamaha really made him his boy. Yeah.
Just saw the Ducati boy, Fabrizio, who's changed his name to the Hurricane rather than the Wizard. The Wizard wasn't working for him. Back for Bayliss, and we just saw a quick glimpse of Sam Corsa there holding the Happy Mother's Day card. She joked to me over lunch that that poor old Troy was so far back that they didn't get to show the sign on race 1. So happy Mother's Day to all the Corsas and to all the Aussie mums, and of course to my mum back in America. And we'll be there soon, coming to Salt Lake City, looking forward to seeing them. And to all mums around the world.
I'm glad I'm getting a great memory to call my mom, because obviously 9 hours ahead from California, and I'll be calling her soon.
There you go.
This is going to be a good one.
This is going to be interesting, and Troy Bayliss is going for victory. He knows this is his last race, as it was at Phillip Island. He won there. This is his last race at Monza, and of course an Italian machine here at the famous Monza circuit. You so want to win, and he has been the king of Monza. He's not yet been off the podium, and that's an incredible accolade. Just let me stop you there 1 second and get you the grid, which is Bayliss, Neukirchner, Haga, and Checker. That's your front row. On the second row, watch out for Kageyama. He was strong last time. Zaus, Nieto, and Kiyonari, all capable. We can see Kiyonari looking for a decent result. Biaggi, can he get another phenomenal start? Let's hope Muggeridge finishes the race this time. Tamada, we want more from him. Likewise, Schmerz and Lavia. And at the back, you know, so still recovering really from that nasty start line injury at Phillip Island. Lanzi way down, and Michael Beck from the USA. Great to have an American. Why don't we have more Americans over here at the moment?
Obviously, the US series is quite strong. Matt Mladen's been winning it for years, but it is quite strong. It is quite strong for manufacturers. And, you know, if you get a decent ride, Chaz Davis is one of those kids. He's 20 years old. He's got a great ride on a TAC Kawasaki, one Daytona. You get good bonuses. There's a good reason to stay there. The USA, I must say, is a really fun country to visit and or explore. The thing here, obviously, you've got to get the right bike in the right place. It's like MotoGP. Yep. You know, they're all trying to make it better. The FG Motorsports Group are going to try to make it better by even next year BMW coming in. That allows 2 more seats to be involved. Yep. If when Aprilia comes in, that's 4 more seats to involve.
KTM coming in.
And KTM, that's 6. I believe there's going to be other teams entering this, and that's going to give them much a more strong point, and you need that to happen.
That's Gregorio Lavia's bike. Now, is that surely his spare bike in preparation, or are they starting from the pit lane?
Not sure on that, but talking about Michael Beck, he finished 19th. He made the first page. I talked to him and I said, how'd you feel? And he says, man, going into turn 1, I couldn't believe how slow they were going, but it was just back up. And he said it was just like a traffic jam. Yeah. And he says, I passed about 8 guys, including my teammate. So that's quite good. He's standing in for David Checa. And looking forward to the second race, and it's good that it's not raining, Jonathan.
Yeah, and I'm glad to say, yeah, it doesn't look as though it's going to.
It's brightening up, the sunshine shining down on these bikes.
Well, here we go then, and the smoke bombs go off, the Yamaha flag comes out, and if you're interested, there's some 200 Yamaha fans there, and most of them are from the factory at Lesmo, just around the corner from here. This is where they make the bikes and prepare the bikes. Yamaha Italia, of course, which is what Troy Corsa and Noriyuki Haga, and they would love Haga to take a victory. He took 2 for him last year, and Haga's back into contention now. And there's no question that...
Kawasaki just went in the pit lane. I don't know which one it was. Sorry, Jonathan.
No, it's all right. Good spot.
Someone just pulled into the pit lane.
Well, there's one still out there. It's either Laconi or Tamada. I think that's Laconi. We'll soon find out. But at the end of the pit lane...
They're at the far end where I can't see. There's another rider coming down the pit lane here.
That, I think, is Lavia starting from the pit lane. We saw his bike warming up. It is. And it is Laconi. So Laconi, who had been second fastest at one point, and Gregorio Lavia, who's podiumed here back in 2003. And the Frenchman and the Spaniard have a few words as to why they're starting from where they are. But we're about to go racing again for race 2. Jonathan Green and Randy Mamola bringing you the action here from Monza, the 5th round of the championship. Can Bayliss go for bust and take a win again? He was on the podium last time, but he's still got to stop the German who won the race last time out. Away we go! Great start from Bayliss. That's more like it.
Same exact move. He just moved straight across the front of these guys right in the middle of the grid and now pulls out into the racing line.
Checa gets a better start. Kiyonari's got an even better one, but has to slot behind his teammate as they go into the first corner. And it's the Suzuki who's come through. So, again, Suzuki lead. Everybody cleanly filing through that first Primavantere. And now we head out into the countryside through the Grand Curve, as it's called. This is flat out and lent across to the side of the right-hand side, and it really is an exhilarating experience to watch them out there. But it is, once again, Kageyama who hits the front with Neukirchner right behind him. They've duffed up Bayliss early on.
3 Suzukis in the top 4.
And Nieto's right there with him. You're quite right. He's in 4th place at the moment. If Nieto can get past Bayliss in this opening lap, it really could change the whole face of this race.
Well, he should have the speed. Obviously, that 1200 has to run off this grid, off the start line, because Bayliss had to start both times going in there, but it was Suzuki's that outbroke him for that first chicane.
Zhao's got away well too. He's in 5th place, just ahead of Haga. Biaggi is 7th. He started well again.
And Checa's in 8th, so a good start for Checa. Kiyonari is just behind Checa.
Well, here we go again, exactly as it was in race 1. The 2 Suzukis out front, setting the pace early on. Off go the foghorns. Bayliss holding on to 3rd place at the moment, just ahead of Nieto. Lavia and Laconi having to start from the pit lane. Down towards the Parabolica for the first time. Slotting it in is the race winner from race 1, Neukirchner.
It's Haga just behind Rubens.
Yep, Haga's making good progress. Corsa is making some as well. He's in the top 10 already, and away we go then. And look at the 2 Suzukis, flat out. And already, 3 Suzukis now, and here comes Haga as well to play.
3 Suzukis, first, second. Nope, Bayliss got him back. Just coming across right in front of us, which is about 2/3 of the straight down. Nieto already had gotten by Bayless, but on the brakes, Bayless took him back.
Intriguing start this, and all the right protagonists are there. Zaus is in the mix, Haga's there, Biaggi's in 7th, Checker's just behind him. 22, bike 22 has crashed out. And that's bad news. Only one, no, he's rejoined, that's okay. Good, okay, so no major accidents. It looks as though somebody's just gone wide at that turn. That was Morelli.
Holland.
And Holland's had problems as well.
You said bike 22, no.
Yeah, Holland's 83.
Okay, let's get back to the front here.
Here we go. And there is Carlos Checker. We said it all along. We need him to be part of this. And already they're starting to spread out. Here comes Haga on Bayless.
Yeah, Nieto's disappeared. Nieto went behind Haga, so he must have made a mistake that did not come on screen because Haga got by him very quickly. And you've got Rubens behind him, and then the two Hondas behind Rubens.
And Kiyonari's got in front of Checker. Good move by him. And there is Corsa and Biaggi. 6 world championships between them.
Get the train going into this last corner here.
Diving it in, Neukirchner, and they've got to be careful because if they let Neukirchner go, he'll be gone.
Definitely. With the speed that he's got without a toe, it's just incredible what he can do. Let's see what the Yamaha can do if it can get by that Ducati of Troy Bayliss. I think it can.
Here they come. And sure enough, Haga looking for a definite slipstream. He got right behind Bayliss that time and alongside him. But here comes Kageyama. 2 Japanese and 1 Aussie. Is there room? Just.
It's amazing how close that is and how much they trust in one another. They close the gap back up on, obviously, Max Neukirchner. This is where Bayliss was really good going into this next chicane. Ryuichi.
And Haga looks so good through here, and as they head to Curva del Roggia, this is where he tends to pop out and look so strong.
Look at Bayliss. Oh, he made a mistake. He's got in there too deep.
And he has made a mistake, and he somehow got it all together, but it slowed everybody down.
That old dirt track school got the foot out.
Yeah, he did, but it slowed them all down. It's allowed Haga to get into 2nd place. And look at that. Neukirchner in 2 bends has gone from 1st to 3rd.
He said sticking his neck out, not his foot out.
Yeah. That is him sticking his neck out. Well, he said he was going to go for it. He's going for victory. Let's hope he holds it all together because he's going to be on. Muggeridge just at a 1:46.6.
And Nieto just pulled back into this group. Nieto, look at the 3 Suzukis together.
Perilously close. And I'm sure Francis Batta is having kittens on the sidelines watching his Suzukis almost on top of each other at the moment. All 3 of them in contention for a podium.
And Kiyonari, the lap before, just had gotten past Rubens. They're behind Max right there. You can see the 2 Hondas, but Checker's stuck behind his teammate.
Yep, Checker at the moment in 8th position, Corsa 9th, Biaggi 10th, and look at this, Haga takes the lead in the Parabolica. Whoa! Very close indeed. And Bayliss looks for the slipstream. Across the line they come. It's Yamaha, Ducati and Suzuki and popping out. Oh, look at the speed of that Suzuki. Oh, where did that come from? Oh, and he thought twice about it. Nobody outbrakes Haga when he's in the mood, and Neukirchner had to bottle out of that one, but he did all the work, and look at the speed of the Suzuki, coming from 3rd to 1st almost.
Let's see, the fastest guy in that part, 146 to Haga, 0.8, 146.9, 147, 147, 147. But then you go down to Corsa, who's doing a 46.9. That's how important it is where you're out on the track and the position.
Yeah, Corsa's running at exactly the same speed as the leaders. It's just about to start, and there he is, all the way back down there.
Yes.
Well, there you go. Muggeridge is the fastest man out there, 146.4, and he's in 10th place, ahead of Biaggi. So Biaggi not getting the start he wanted to. Carlos Checker is holding on to 8th place, but he's not making any inroads. Kiyonari, his teammate, is in front of him, but you can see that, like you say, identical times, the top 10 almost. Nothing between them here.
They're grouping up. I mean, the race pace should obviously get down into the mid to lower 46s as the fuel starts to go down in these bikes. Carrying a lot of fuel really does feel bad going through these chicanes, you know, stopping from the speeds that are doing 205 miles an hour down to the 55 or whatever it is for that first chicane.
Haga trying to avoid the slipstream.
You know, I told him, I said, stay away to the right, make them go around.
He's listening, isn't he?
I don't know if he's listening to my rules, but you know, that's one of the things you used to do here.
Bit of a moment there from Bayliss, excuse me, from Zaus. Got out of the seat and is trying to recover as he comes out of Parabolica.
Here comes the Honda outside of Rubens.
Through come the leaders, yep, sure enough.
It's Kiyonari.
Kiyonari going good. Queuing up here at the end.
But that's Kageyama just letting the brakes off once again.
Kageyama went too late last time and went on at the first corner in race 1. Not happened yet in this one.
So Max Neukirchner is taking the lead again. Still 2 Suzukis in the top 4.
And you know what? Biaggi in 9th position is going quicker than the men out front. Amazing.
Yes. And that's 2.3 seconds behind.
Here comes Zaus. Tries to get up the inside.
The crazy thing is when you hear 2.3 seconds, that's 1001, 1002.
Yeah, I know.
8 bikes went by.
Oh, and it's a squeeze in there. Zaus is in the wars this afternoon, that's for sure. Plenty of time left in this one, and the 2 Hondas together on track.
Oh, somebody went. That's Kageyama.
Kageyama
he just needs to settle down. I mean, that's Kageyama. Now he's got to do so much work to get back into that race.
I don't think he can, and he's throwing up dirt and dust everywhere. But meanwhile, back at the front, it's normal systems resumed and normal season resumed as Neukirchner out front with Haga looking very strong indeed. Bayliss in a waiting role. Out of Ascari. Up through the gears. Flat out to almost 300k. 305k on the Yamaha in 6th gear and then dropping down to 3rd, down to 130. Through goes Kiyonari. Great move.
Good move into 6th place.
Yeah, but not that great. Look.
I think it's 5th place.
Oh, that's tight.
It's actually 5th place. Look at this.
Oh, and Zaus didn't want to give up that spot.
He's not going to be able to hold him back because that 4-cylinder Honda's running well.
Here comes Bayliss, jinking out to try and get past, and Kiyonari's on it again.
Checa's also underneath Rubens going into turn 1.
Here we go.
And there's Corser, who didn't exist in turn 1. I mean, the first race, and there he is right there, just a couple of seconds behind.
Corser has arrived, and I know that everyone in Pino's down in Phillip Island has just jumped off their seats to realise that their hero is back in action, and Kageyama, another hero in Japan, is
He went off again, probably at Parabolica, or it could have been that chicane. You know what? I bet you it was a chicane because before that back straight.
And Nieto's very much in contention this time round too, which is good news. Fonzie Nieto still very much in championship contention. And the best news for me this weekend is that Kiyonari has arrived.
Here it is.
But one other Japanese.
That's a chicane.
Yeah. Whoa, that's a big off.
Huge.
And Kageyama's had too many falls like that, and that's a nasty, nasty fall.
He just didn't seem settled down in the first race and this race. I don't know if he was seeing too many red dots from his teammates, and that's no pun intended, but seriously, he just doesn't seem to be able to settle down. And he's got the machine to do it, he's got the know-how to do it, but he did not put that to use.
That's bad news also, because he was due to fly off to Japan tomorrow and test for the 8 hours.
Kiyonari's really closed the gap on the back of Nieto.
Kiyonari's going to be in contention very soon.
Here he comes. He's hard on the brakes. Checa backing it into that corner.
Well, there's Muggeridge on Biaggi. Muggeridge giving it one. Former champion and former winner here in Supersport. The year he won here in Supersport, he took pole and fastest lap on the win. So he certainly knows his way around here. And here comes Troy Bayliss, taking the lead and almost taking the front wheel off Max Neukirchner. Neukirchner's not giving up though and brakes as late as he possibly can. But the Maestro's got it. And Bayliss hits the front. Now, surely, if you were Bayliss, you would try and break the train. You don't want to be part of this freight train, do you?
He cannot afford to play battle with these guys on the straight. He's got to make his own race. If he can put his head down and put some serious lap times in, you know, they're still running 46.8 was the best lap. 46.7, 46.8, 47.1, 46.5. Kiyonari really on the move.
Carlos certainly on the move.
Yeah, getting it wrong, but should slot right back into where he shouldn't have been. Nope. Now you see those small errors.
Yeah.
You know, loads of experience, but small errors. Kiyonari's never been here before either, and he doesn't seem to be making those mistakes.
Well, that's what always impresses me about Haga, is he just doesn't make those mistakes. Very rarely do you see him making those mistakes, unless it's really a big mistake, like at Assen where he falls off, or at Valencia where he falls off. It's either do or die, but when he's on it, it's full on.
This is going to be interesting to see if Max Neukirchner's Suzuki can pass the Ducati before the next corner. Obviously, the Ducati has really good grunt coming out of the corners, great bottom end. Going into this Ascari, is Haga going to screw that up?
Into Parabolica, and he's got into second.
Parabolica, sorry.
Key corner, Parabolica, because it's all lent over to the right, 4th gear, and then you're back on the power now.
Watch the power of the Suzuki. By the time they get to us, he should be alongside of him.
Well, Haga could be in front of Bayliss, and he does.
There comes the Suzuki.
Whoa, does that. Look at that slingshot.
And he has enough time to crew us back in front of both of them.
Unbelievable. That is amazing.
Again, Kiyonari getting close. Look at this group. This is a whole nother, and Corsa's going to lead that group.
Whoa, just take some paint with him, and he had to take avoiding action there. Don't think they'll penalise him for that one. And now he's got to fight with fellow world champion Carl Muggeridge.
He did his own damage. He just let off the throttle, obviously, and let these guys go through as he has to. But Haga and Bayliss really going through that fast right-hand corner there. Curva Grande.
Really impressed with Kiyonari. He's right up there. First time out at Monza, remember, save for Checker. Rolfo out injured, as you saw at the start there, if you've just joined us. Rolfo not taking part as Haga goes through on the inside of Troy Bayliss and apologises. How polite.
He's smoking.
He's smoking. No! Bayliss is out! Bayliss is out! Oh, the ignominy of it all, the irony of it all. The king of Monza has just gone up in smoke.
That was a signal. You could see the signal coming from Haga.
Tardozzi can't believe it. Ernesto Marinelli there to the left.
Maybe that's why Haga really wanted to go up underneath him really quick. Because that thing is smoking. Look at it.
It is, yeah.
That's not the tire. Something's happening there.
Well, good signals, good sportsmanship. They know each other so well. And
you can see Bayliss in the background in that shot just running out wide there. Keeping off the race line.
Well, Haga's an amazing fellow. He's able to take his hands off going at that kind of speed. And look at Corsa. Corsa not taking any prisoners.
Corsa, Checa, Rubens.
This is a great battle.
Yeah, Max, Biaggi.
You know what? I said it all along. It only needs one bad weekend for Bayliss, and this could turn out to be a bad one if things don't get any better. And I think it's pretty much game over for Bayliss because he's suddenly, what's going on with Corsa? He just banged into Checker. He couldn't break it. Both of them have to take avoiding action, and that was all Corsa's fault. He couldn't stop.
He got in there way too deep, as you just said, and as everybody just saw, and they were lucky to escape that without coming down.
So Bayliss is out. That's the big news, and it means that everyone else will make hay while the sun shines here in Monza, and certainly points Kiyonari backing it in there. What a battle we've got going on here. And here they are. Bayliss is out. That's not what the fans came to see. Tardozzi bitterly disappointed, and that's the first technical problem we've seen on this new bike this year.
I'd like to know what it was here.
Might have to send you down. A ripple of applause from the crowd who came to see him get the double, but they know he's out now.
Now Max Neukirchner stretching it out. You can see the gap opening up. Haga's really got to toe these other guys up. Kiyonari once again right there.
Well, this is a great opportunity for all those chasing Bayliss. And here, look at this. Jakob Schmerz has joined the fray.
Yeah, the thing is, obviously, here it is.
He tried to avoid Muggeridge.
Yes, for some reason, Muggeridge didn't go, well, I don't know. I'd like to see the replay once more time, and I'm sure you guys that have the television at home will watch that over and over again. Just got in there really deep and really changed the line quickly. And Carlos and him were both lucky to stay up on board. Jakob
Schmerz been well impressed with him in recent times. He really is gaining some confidence now. He too has got that 10.98, which should be equal speed. Kiyonari just does the fastest lap of the race, 146.3. That's quick, and you can see why he's right on the edge now and just behind Nieto. Zaus, Muggeridge, and Biaggi all flopping it in at the same time to the right there through the first bend. And Zaus trying to desperately get some power down and certainly get a result. He fell nastily out of the Parabolica last time out, but luckily not injured. Back at the front, and once again it's Haga chasing down Neukirchner.
You know what, I'm going to take a guess on Kageyama. I know it's been quite a few laps. It was a right-hand corner where he ran off the racetrack.
Yep.
And then he went down that next straight, went through the chicane, and fell off on the right-hand side of the tire. I'm just wondering if something was leaking off his bike at the time that caused that. It's just a guess, but it looked kind of strange to me how quick that thing came around.
Or could it have been from Bayless's bike?
It could have been. I'm just not too sure. Obviously, there's other bikes that should have been around there that would have been affected, but the way that he fell off, went off the racetrack, I'm going to stick with my first one, though. I think just him overriding the bike and him just getting overly excited with this Haga.
This is classic Haga. He's hounding the German, Max Neukirchner. He's trying to force him into a mistake.
Again, my idea, if being Haga, the thing is he's got a little bit of gap over Fonzi Nieto. I think Kiyonari, it's just a matter of time. If he can get by that Suzuki, and there he's got a good drive now because Fonzi just got it sideways.
Oh, he almost hit the Suzuki then. Here they come then across the line. Suzuki and Yamaha glued together. Here comes Haga. Side by side as they passed our commentary position. Haga under brakes. We know how good he is, but Max Neukirchner's equal to it. It's a battle of bravery, and Haga's won this round. Crowd loved that. Off go the foghorns, and Haga hits the front.
Kiyonari's third.
Kiyonari goes to third place, and what a result that would be. And British fans starting to sit up.
This is the
check us out. He's checked out. He's okay though. Ooh, another off.
That looks like Parabolica.
Yeah.
Obviously, Checa made that mistake, or not the mistake, but was.
And another bang! Haga's gone bang! Oh no, and he doesn't know it yet. Let's hope he does realise fairly soon. He gave the signal to Bayless, and now the signal needs to be given to him, and quickly, because he's going to be perilous in front of those guys, and he could cause big problems. Suddenly it stops smoking again.
There's something flapping on the back of the bike.
Maybe it was just on the tyre.
No, it's on the fender. If they can get a closest shot of that, I wish that the producers could hear me. On the left-hand side, there was something moving. So I'm just hoping that it's something touching the tire, that it doesn't lock up.
This is...
because it's definitely not coming from the exhaust.
Well, it's not the engine for sure, because he's gotten full chat at the moment. Down out of Ascari, but that was a strange, strange moment. And now Kiyonari is caught up with Neukirchner. It's the battle of the young boys. Kiyonari, the youngster, is right there with Neukirchner. Honda, Suzuki, and Yamaha, and no Ducati in sight, except this one.
These two. These two doing battle with Mugridge. Boy, Kiyonari getting sideways, so is Nieto.
What is happening with that Yamaha?
Watch this. Watch the Suzuki. Look at the power of the Suzuki. Look at him pulling out of the draft, and there he goes, right by him.
And the Honda. The Honda's gone to second place, has he? No, not quite. But Neukirchner takes the lead. That was the most bizarre incident, because there was a lot of smoke pouring off that.
There's something,
Yamaha.
Unless it kicked it off. I don't know if it was the fender or whatever that I'd seen flapping. There it is, it's flapping. You can see something on the left-hand side of the swing arm, and it's got to be the fender. Just behind his ankle on the left-hand side.
But he's so quick there that he has to almost let off the gas because he's running into Max Neukirchner there.
Okay, this is where we saw it. Take a look at the back of the bike. This next right-hander. Come on, get the good shot. Get a good shot. Get a good shot.
Top three, nothing between them.
There's something.
Well, Kiyonari's got the best view in the house, and he's right there in third place. Nieto's not out of it on the Suzuki in fourth.
See the white thing? I don't know if it's a bracket.
So, tense times for Noriyuki Haga.
Anyway, it's not smoking anymore, so that's great.
I'm going to say, that's that. Bayless is out if you've just joined us, and that is significant for the championship. He will score no points from race 2. Look!
Now take a look. If they go into this left-hand corner, there's something flapping just behind his foot. Oh.
And now it's bad. Now it's really bad. And for whatever it is, it's causing him major grief, but it's not affecting the engine. It's got to be affecting something.
I don't see what it is.
Well, if Randy, with all your years, if you can't spot it, you're pleasing me because I can't work that one out, and I can't work out why it's not slowing him down, but it certainly isn't because he's at real breakneck pace, and in fact, he's about to go for the lead again. And he does take the lead ahead of Neukirchner, but only just.
Again, I don't like that movement whatsoever when these guys outbrake each other and move back over to the racing line. It's just too dangerous to be moving over on one another in those braking zones.
Haga does a 147.1, a 46.8 by Neukirchner. Corsa still running in the top 10, but he's in 9th now. Zaus is 7th. Biaggi top 6 still. Mugridge is going to have his best result of the season. He's currently in 5th behind Nieto. Now, have another look at Haga if you can. Ugh, can't get it there. And it's only on certain parts of the track where it seems to affect the bike.
You see, I don't know if that's a shield from his foot, not so it doesn't go into the chain.
All will be revealed either way. Somehow Haga's hanging on in there and is leading this race. So let's not lose sight of it. He's leading this race and leading it strongly.
Yeah, and obviously they're just dropping just a little bit Nieto in that 4th place.
Massimo Meregali is just as concerned as we are, but they too are not running around. They know that there's something wrong, but they know that their man's up there and running because he's not dropped back any.
I noticed that obviously there's a lot of flame coming out of the exhaust. They're running it quite lean.
Max Neukirchner hits the front now, and Kiyonari is right there. This is a superb display of riding. We've got the master from Japan, Noriyuki Haga, and Kiyonari, the new son of Honda. And he too is preparing himself for the big 8 hours. And Kiyonari would love nothing more than to get a podium here at Monza. Let's see how strong the Honda is.
That Honda's quite strong, but right towards the end of this straight. Now look at Haga, how he pulls over. It's so critical not to touch the other rider. Kiyonari's getting a good lesson of this Monza circuit with these 2 guys in front of him.
Well, Neukirchner's took his first win. Haga was a double winner last time out, and this would be rather special.
There it is, a flapping again in the wind. I just saw something again on the left-hand side. Wish I had a picture of the bike that I could focus in on what it is.
Well, it'll slow down at the end, that's for sure. If it finishes this way, Neukirchner and Checker, well, Checker will drop down the board, I'm sure, but Neukirchner will move up to 116 points, and that puts him right in contention again. Neukirchner going to 2nd in the championship.
You know, this is the thing about Bayliss. You know, if you're going to have any pressure, you're going to put any pressure on him, you got to finish races. Checker was running 2nd in his championship, out of the race on the front end crash.
Yep. And again, a little puff of smoke there from Haga as he heads into the complex that is Ascari. There's Max Biaggi. Fabrizio's in the mix. So too Zaus and Muggeridge. Good battle here. And at the back of that is Jakob Schmerz, the Czech. Back to the front goes Neukirchner.
Yes, Carlos, I mean, Fonzie Nieto has just closed up the gap just a little bit on Kiyonari. Kiyonari seemed to make one mistake in that final chicane. Here they come onto the front straight. Anything would be smoking if you've been stretched to the limits of that Suzuki's pushing these things.
Yep.
Look at him fall back into the draft and try to get a second bite at it. Now watch him hit the brakes. Neukirchner outbrakes him this time.
Yep, and he's got the right line too. Neukirchner in the lead at the first corner. Haga right there with him as it was in race 1. Kiyonari's the new man, and Nieto is catching.
That's Fabrizio taking the position away from Max. That's for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th there.
Corsa still in the top 10, but only just. Lanzi scoring points in 14th position. Holland could be on for a point. The Aussie taking a first point here in his World Superbike campaign, his first outing at the Great Monza circuit. Boy, 4 to go. Randy, how do you call it? Now, you talked to Nori, and you gave him some advice, which, from what we've been watching, he's been taking.
Again, you know, we've got 4 laps to go. Is that correct? 4 laps to go?
Yep, well, just under.
Man, it just seems like this race has gone so much quicker.
It has.
There's so much energy that's going on. For me, he's got to sit there and wait and obviously strike at a moment least expected. When he keeps on just doing this back and forth passes, it allows Max to regroup too quickly with the speed of that Suzuki. He needs to be able to strike. If he tries to pass him here, going into Parabolica, which we're not going to see on screen because we're now following Max Biaggi group there.
Here it is, coming into Parabolica here. Now, this is really where the nitty-gritty gets sorted out, and this is where Haga's got to make a move or not, or take a different line perhaps.
Yes.
He's right behind him this time.
Again, he's just got to follow him here. He's not going to do anything. If he passes him on the outside right here, what's that going to tell Max?
Oh, well, and he got a bit of a wobble on, and you're right, he can't get past him.
He can't get past him. He's trying that, but look at the Honda now.
And that's just played into Kiyonari's play hands.
Exactly. Look at that, the speed of that Honda.
Down towards the first corner. Again they go. Kiyonari trying everything in the book to stop the master. Haga, but he can't outbreak him. Kiyonari's having a phenomenal race. Let's not forget this. This is as high as the 10-Kata man has been all year long. He looked forlorn. He looked out of it at Losail. I caught up with him in one of his porta cabins, and he said, this is not what I expected.
You can see the Yamaha of Haga and Kiyonari's Honda getting really sideways through that Curva Grande. And as we've seen so many times, lap after lap, Haga getting that corner so much faster than everybody.
Oh, they are glued together, these three. Oh, and off goes Biaggi. It is. Max Biaggi is out and off and holding his left wrist, which of course he broke at Phillip Island. Not what he wanted. Physical track, Monza, and that's not good news.
Here we go.
Oh, and he came together with Schmerz.
And Schmerz looked like he wasn't going to make the corner anyway.
So perhaps the blame there.
That was that chicane, that Varianti.
What a shame. And Max is out, and Bayliss is out, and the new guns are up.
For me, what he's got to do is the last lap going into turn 1. Haga's just got to hang in there the last lap going through turn 1, because Curva Grande, he smokes everybody through that corner, and he can probably hold him off through the Varianti. The next straight I'm not too sure about, after the Curva Lesmo, the double right, going onto that next little straight. Coming onto the straight, he does not have the power or engine to get it to the finish line right there.
2 to go. But Suzuki leads Yamaha and Honda.
Don't show your hand now. Do not show your hand now. Don't do it. Don't do it.
He's doing it. And he's done it. But having said that, Haga leading. Oh, and I'm sliding out there. He just does it, and Kiyonari's caught up. This is what I was going to say. If Haga leads, and they're about to get up on back markers as well.
Yeah, and
Kiyonari can catch up, and that could actually help Haga.
Look at the gap he's opened. That's why I said he's got to pass him going into turn 1. Look at the gap he's opened up. That makes
very strong.
This is where Max now needs to stretch it. Oh God, get out of the way.
Get out of the way. Yeah, and again, Haga might be thinking of using the back marker again to give him some free air, perhaps. 77 Napoleone, the young Italian, is there. He's seen him.
That's great. He's got a long look over his shoulder, going through this Lesmo curves. He'll get out of the way.
Fascinating race. Haga leads it and deserves a win on the evidence of the last 2 races. Excellent stuff. Neukirchner has already taken one. Takes a look over his shoulder. All he sees is Kiyonari. Kiyonari might be a surprise to see because he's not been up that far as little mini Haga watches on.
That is so cute, man.
They're terrors in the paddock. They're on their bicycles everywhere they go.
And here comes Max again. He's going to get a great run coming onto this back straight. It's whether or not he can hold him off.
Now, what does Neukirchner do? Does he overtake here? This is not the last lap.
No, he waits till the main straight and does it there because he knows Haga at the beginning of the lap is so fast and he doesn't have to deal with it. But here it is right here. Look at how fast that Suzuki is.
And so he hasn't got past him, though.
So Max just said, hey, he knows he's got the speed. Yep. Last lap, he's going to come out here, and now Haga's going to have a hard time outbreaking him.
Oh, and a mistake there from Haga as he leaps out of the seat but holds on to it.
Okay, make that Yamaha wide, Haga.
Make it as wide as you can. He takes a completely different line across the start-finish, allowing Kiyonari to catch up. Kiyonari's got past the Suzuki. Kiyonari leads for about a millisecond. It's 3 abreast into the first corner on the last lap of Monza, and Haga just does it.
This could be the thing because this is where Haga's excellent. Going through Curva Grande, he had opened the gap the lap before, but he did it against Max. Let's see what Kiyonari can do.
Come on, Kiyo. Come on, Kiyo.
He's sticking right there, and that Honda's got power.
Out of Cavone, the Grand Curve as it's called, down to Curva del Roggia for the last time, down to 2nd gear. Haga doing everything he can, and Kiyonari's right there, and Max Neukirchner is far from over yet. He's going for the double. This is the final lap. Oh, Randy, who's going to win it?
Let's take it. I'm going to take the green Honda.
Okay.
I'm going to take the green Honda.
Fair enough.
You know, he's doing really well. He sat there. Maybe he was the one that's playing the sick duck, and he had something underneath him. They're looking back in the wrong area with these cameras. We need to get back towards the front, guys.
Nieto is going to take 4th place, and it looks as though Fabrizio and Zaus has got past Fabrizio, and they're battling it out. Here we come then into the Ascari corner, and amazingly, Kiyonari's hit the front. Wow, what a story that would be. Come on, Kiyonari. Out of Ascari he comes. This is a big moment in his career. He's ahead of Haga, but for how long? Here comes Neukirchner. Don't count him out.
Stay weighing right.
Whoa, they all spread out. 3 abreast into Parabolica. Classic Monza. Kiyonari Kiyonari's got the best position, but can he hold it tight? No! Haga's got the lead, but Kiyonari cuts it in. The two Japanese side by side. Last corner. Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki. Who's it going to be? Haga! Oh, what a finish.
Kirchner got second.
Oh, wow, what a fantastic race. And Haga, Neukirchner, and Kiyonari almost crossed the line. It's what, 5/1000ths of a second?
No, 500.
500ths of a second almost between the top three. What a race.
Kiyonari couldn't do it, and Haga made that turn.
Well, Haga is the master. And I'll tell you what.
See my rider? I chose Kiyonari, and I lost by 500ths of a second.
But you advised Haga. I like that. Tell you what, Haga's back in contention. He's got 112 points now, and he's just 3 behind Checker, who's second. And with Bayliss not scoring, that gap is coming down.
Boy, did Kiyonari have a learning curve in this race this weekend. Fantastic. And you talk about having more ammunition going into Salt Lake City, where it's an unknown for all of them. Someone like Kiyonari can do a really good job, and it just shows you why younger guys need to have these chances, need to have these opportunities to get involved in these classes.
What a race, and that had everything, and Kiyonari can be well pleased. He's arrived too. If Neukirchner arrived, Kiyonari's arrived too, and what I love about this championship is that it just always seems to throw up somebody new. Like a couple of years ago, Fabrizio showed up on the podium in Brno in the Czech Republic, and everybody said, who's this kid?
Jonathan, we talked about the Ducati maybe coming here with Bayliss and having 500 RPM more. I'm sure you just had 3,000 RPM more screaming in my ears.
Sorry about that.
No. It's amazing. It's amazing how much more RPM you carried on that final corner. But it was well worth it, wasn't it? Oh, my God.
Glad to have you aboard.
It was well worth it.
Well, I have to say, it doesn't get much better than Monza, last corner Parabolica, Haga, and 2 other combatants going for it. It really is something special. Oh, well, race 2, catch your breath, Haga, Neukirchner.
9,000ths to second in 500ths.
That was all. Well, that reminds me of Foggy Edwards here a few years ago. That's how close it was.
I'd like to see that replay. Well, for sure, we're going to see a replay of it. When Haga came up underneath him, Kiyonari tried to cut back, and they nearly tangled. Then he actually cut back all the way and had enough of a drive. But it was Max Neukirchner who really had a clean drive coming out there and nearly took the victory away.
You know, Bayliss has still got a very strong lead, but now there are several riders in the top 6, including Corsa, all within 100 points of him. And as you can see, the fans trying to take a piece of the action, trying to get the bikes, trying to be part of the show. There's Corsa.
Where did Corsa end up? Obviously, the changes he made to his bike allowed him to, actually be in vision on the racetrack for many a times. He finished 8th place, and it was 12 seconds back. But let me tell you, he was behind Fabrizio in 5th. He was only 2 seconds behind that. It was a good amendment to whatever they did to the bike. But there's Noriyuki Haga showing the Japanese flag to those Italian fans.
They love him. They love him here.
Well, how could you not? I mean, the American fans are going to love him next, the next race.
Book your tickets for Salt Lake. We're coming. It's going to be fun. Here's the finish again, Randy. You wanted to see it. Yeah,
you see them fans. Look at Kiyonari had to shut off. Looked like Kiyonari might have had to shut off as Haga tried to protect that line. But what a fantastic finish. Michael Beck, 15th place.
He got a point. The American scored. I love it. Good on you, Michael.
Going into USA, having a point. That's
great.
Got
his passport just 3 days ago to travel. Never been to Europe, never been to Monza, never been to Italy. Eyes popping out on stalks most of the week. And he scored a point in a world championship. Good on him.
This is a great part of Monza. Check this out. Going down to the podium to be a part of the podium action. Really something. Look at Haga. That's right. That's right.
That's right. I'm the daddy. And look at the helmet, too. The Italian helmet.
No, lovely. His kids, his wife, his family, his fan base.
Yep. He's based here, of course, now. And his Italian's pretty good, too. He was at the press conference the other day, speaking almost perfect Italian. And it's a bit of hero worship going on. But Haga flies the flag for Japan. And okay, BMW are coming and the Europeans are going to be strong, but there's nothing like seeing Haga on his day on a Japanese machine. And Kiyonari, as polite as ever, takes a warm handshake from the opposing team.
Another thing good about being young, you get off the bike going, what? Let's do that again.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Kiyonari loved it. And I saw him yesterday, and he said, yeah, coming better. Yeah. And he's a super guy. When he's got his confidence, he's full of it. And I'll tell you what, he's not frightened he's not what I like about him is he's another Haga. He rides like Haga when he's confident.
Yeah. You know, he went to school very well in the UK.
Yeah.
And those racetracks make you learn how to scrap. And scrap means like take anything, take no prisoners, outbreak, because you guys have got the best championship here inside of Europe, outside the World Superbike. Great training ground for everybody. Some of the racetracks are a little bit sketchy, I must say, for safety-wise, but obviously it's a great training ground.
There is Haga. Kiyonari taking the applause from the Tenkata team, and it's not been an easy weekend for them. If you were wondering where Ken Sofoglu was, he's gone home. Sadly, his brother passed away over the weekend in a racing incident himself, and we wish him and his family well, and our condolences to him. Sofoglu not taking part this weekend. Haga gets the kids out, keeping the sponsors happy, of course.
Another thing also, Nieto obviously making some sort of improvements to his bike to get into that 4th place. Might have been a different story with Bayless there.
Big points for Nieto too, because he's right there in contention.
Yes, obviously that's very important. Mogrid's getting a great finish in 6th place. Fabrizio waking up and doing something quite a bit better, albeit they were 10 seconds behind, but look at how close they were. Mogrid and Chaus were 1/1000th of a second behind, or 1/10 behind, crossing that line.
Amazing, isn't it? Mogrid taking 6th place, probably his best result of the year. Great to see Karl Mogrid, and he always seems to go well here at Monza. It's a good track for him.
There's a good shot of Kiyonari and his team. Obviously very happy to have him in there.
Now everybody flies down to the podium. I'm
going to put a flag up and say they need to do 3 races a day, because I'd love to see one, just one more, please.
We'll take it on advisement. Thanks. Bayless, 194. Still has a massive lead, but look at them queuing up now. Checker, Haga, Neukirchner, Nieto, all right up there. Yeah. And Corsa's not out of it either.
Obviously, Bayless it made great score not having Checker score any points whatsoever to make a dent into his championship.
I have to say, though, the gap between the top 6 and then Biaggi is quite significant. Having said that, anything. And I think that's the beauty of this year's championship, is that so many different winners, so many different podiums, and now Kiyonari joining the mix, and of course Neukirchner taking a win. It looks as though everybody's going to take points. This reminds me of 2004, when nobody seemed to want to win the championship, and of course in the end it went right down to the wire, and Toseland came good, and but it really was one of those years where everybody was taking points. And I think it's going to happen. Now we see it.
There it is. It took a chunk for whatever reason. The white thing I couldn't see was the Pirelli sticker. Obviously, Pirelli's going to be upset with them knocking the sticker off on the side of that thing.
I don't know. I think they'll be quite happy you brought it home. I'm glad that their tyres last.
Very lucky. What it must have happened is, I don't know, maybe somebody had hit him, but maybe that the fender had folded up inside, and the thing was rubbing so hard that it was smoking.
Let's hope Julian Thomas asks us exactly what happened there, because Haga will know.
That could have been frightening, Jonathan. I mean, that thing would have locked up easy in one of those corners. But what a fantastic job. Haga, Neukirchner, Kiyonari. What a show.
Well, to win with a smoke, you know, with literally a fender stuck right next to your tyre. And he must have been aware of it. You can hear things like that, surely. Maybe?
No, I don't think so. Not with the noise of the engine. I mean, obviously, to the guys in front of him, that's a scary moment.
But nobody seemed to warn him.
Yeah, no. But obviously, they were probably going, what is that? What is that? 'Cause it's not coming from the exhaust. Clearly wasn't coming from the exhaust. But maybe they could actually see the fender as well. You know, we were only getting the outside view of it, and our cameraman didn't quite pick up on that. But something very, very strong that I sensed, and he was very lucky again to finish. Great crowd. Look at it.
Far from a walk in the park for either of the winners today. But 2 brilliant wins, one for Neukirchner and one for Haga. And Haga, there's his tyre. You can see where it's scraped. The mechanics having a quick look at the damage. I wonder if they'll keep that there. There's your traction controls.
Up and down, obviously A and B. There's different settings for these bikes. You know, mapping settings. In MotoGP, you know, these guys here in World Superbike, you don't have to worry about running out of fuel because the races are shorter. MotoGP, you know, we even have the safety systems of the computers that say, hey, you used a little bit too much fuel, we're going to slow you down a little bit. And we think that's what happened to Danny Pedrosa's bike in China. The last 4 laps, he was standing with Valentino, and we think that it might have went down to shut mode. But here's the Italian. This is one of the greatest moments about being in Monza, as you know, Jonathan. With the way they have the podium here,
yeah,
it's just
right over the track.
It's like a stage for these guys, and you don't need any leadway whatsoever to get these guys to come out and see you.
Yeah, it's a wonderful time, and everybody literally comes out of the woods to see the podium and celebrate. And Kiyonari, this will without doubt be the biggest moment, I would have thought, of his young career. Yes, he's won in Britain and he's won the title there, and he's a hero there. And he's got a lot of British following, and that sets him up nicely for Donington Park and Brands Hatch.
Last year in the BSB, were they running Pirelli?
No.
Okay, so this is another thing that he's still learning, is obviously the Pirelli side of things. You know, the Pirelli factor of him having a standard tire, not a standard tire, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
A single tire brand.
Well, that was his problem at the beginning of the season when I spoke to him. It was a really, it's not so much riding a Honda. Obviously, he knows how to do that.
Getting the feedback.
It was getting the feel of the tires. He, just not used to it, and he was really struggling, to be fair, because he's walking into a championship-winning team. Remember, Tosden walked out, and he's got 3 riders in there. Carlos Checa, who's no mug, and of course, Kiyonari basically started off on what James Tosden left them, because everybody was effectively searching around for the right setup.
You know, and this brings me to a point of the BSB round. Imagine the Haslams being here, as well as Crutchlow. You know, I know Shaky Byrne's been here before, but
well, he won a double as a wild card.
And I just think that there's still places to be had here from a lot of good talent that needs to be in here that have good, solid names.
Haslam hasn't done with it yet. He was here with Renegade, of course, and that was, to be fair, poorly funded as a Ducati, and we haven't seen the best of Leon Haslam yet.
Again, it's you asked me about why the Americans don't come over. It's got to be the right place at the right time.
I get it.
And now that BMW is coming, which is a great market, might not be the time to jump ship and go to BMW, but there's a learning curve there to do something with BMW. With it looks like Alex Hoffman will be entering with Aprilia next year. Obviously, that's another German. That'll be another big part. But look at that! Look at that special
family moment. And great moment for Massimo Meregali on the right-hand side there, the team manager of the Yamaha Italia team. He was like a rabbit in the headlights on Thursday and Friday. Thousands of guests, 2 bikes not going well. Let's remember, both are... We pause. Let's just pause now for the national anthem. Yep, they were nowhere at the beginning of the weekend, both Corsa and Haga. And Haga just put in a brilliant lap at the end of qualifying to get into Super Pole and get himself on the front row. And the rest, as they say, is history.
There goes the champagne, getting a shower down there as being a fan.
Only one national anthem when double is your Japanese.
Yeah.
And that's great, you know. Back home in Japan, they can be proud of that. That's a great moment for Yamaha. Well, what a race. As Randy Mamola quite rightly pointed out, it seemed like the race was over in 10 minutes because it had so many highlights. It was an incredible race too. By the time we got with 4 laps to go, we'd only just gathered ourselves from the opening start of it, and it was an interesting start with Lecone and Lavia starting from the pit lane. Bayliss got a brilliant start right from the start, and away the 2 boys went, the Spaniard and the Frenchman from the pit lane. But then, at the corner, Suzuki took the advantage, and it was Neukirchner and Kageyama early on, with Haga and Bayliss in a waiting mode. Bayliss going up to 2nd place, Haga going with him. And it started to get rough and tumble they did too, because eventually Kageyama would go down. Here it was. Nasty. Let's hope he's okay. Then, Bayliss, the big bang for Bayliss, the championship leader. The first problem we've seen for the bike, the new 1098 Corsa, so close to taking both he and Checker out. Luckily, he was okay, but he did check out a little bit later and was off. Smoke coming from Haga's bike. What was it? Well, it turns out it was the actual tyre fender. And you can see there were times where it was nasty. Massimo Marigali saying, what the heck is going on there? But somehow the pace kept going.
Yeah, it broke off, and when it got tucked up underneath that rear tire, boy, that was a scary moment.
The race continued, and once again the Suzukis took the lead. And Neukirchner was close. And in the end, it just got closer and closer. Nasty moment for Biaggi. He went off, coming together with Schmerz. And as we came down to the closing stages, it was all fingers crossed. And the one thing that no one expected was Kiyonari to hit the front on the last lap, which he did. And on the last corner, just a slightly wider line out of Parabolica upset his rhythm, and that allowed Haga through. It was so nearly Kiyonari's victory, just Haga knocking his nose off at the last moment, and that allowed the Italian team to take the Japanese to a win. So let's go down to Julian Thomas and find out what on earth happened out there.
Hello, Ryuichi, Kiyonari, third place, a fantastic result. You're very happy.
Yeah, I'm happy this result. Yeah.
You could have won that race. Three riders at the line, very close.
I tried to win, but not easy.
Okay, thank you very much, Ryuichi, Kiyonari, man. A few words, but certainly a man of action. Let's go on to our second place rider, Max Neukirchner. Congratulations, second place. Wasn't the win, wasn't the 2 wins, but a good result for you today.
Yeah, the second race was a hard race for us. I think Yuki changed something. Mr. Haga changed something from first race to second race, and he did it really well and was really quick in the corner. Okay, I was a little bit faster on the straight, and I'm happy to be now again on the podium, and I'm really happy for me and also for my team.
Okay, once again, congratulations, Max Neukirchner, second place. Let's move on to our winner of race 2 here, Noriyuki Haga. There's the photo finish, and he can show it to you. Very close in the end. Nori, what did you do? Did you find some more horsepower, or you changed tactics for that win?
Well, actually, I cannot change it for the engine, but I adjusted a little bit for suspension. And that was better than first race for feeling. And just last lap, I thinking about what can I do, what to do. But almost when I arrived last corner, my inside head is white, white. So, but I cannot believe, just 0.009 seconds. So, but I'm really happy for this win, and I try to do my best for next round.
And obviously Monza is a special place for you as well. 2 wins last year, 1 win this year.
Exactly. Anyway, here our home track, so from 1 week before, I just thinking I must win. I'm just thinking about winning. But during the weekend, I couldn't find no feeling. But yesterday, my engineer and the suspension engineer makes good combination, and I was really enjoy riding.
Okay, thank you very much, our race winner, Noriyuki Haga.
Well, I can assure you, Nori, we enjoyed watching. Great weekend of racing, as always, here at Monza. We head now to the fields of Salt Lake City, and it will be a level field as well, because no one has raced there from World Superbikes. My thanks to Randy Momola. You are welcome in this commentary booth anytime. Glad you've enjoyed it. That's it for this weekend.
Thank you so much, Jonathan. I hope I get invited back. This was very exciting. I'm a fan.
You're always welcome, my friend. That's it from Monza. I'm Jonathan Green. Until next time, we're at Salt Lake City. That's where we're going next. The US of A should be a cracker. And looking forward to going to Miller Motorsports. Happy Mother's Day. Happy birthday to mine as well. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.